Good morning, welcome, bienvenue to the Municipal Council meeting of the County of Annapolis. We are going to start this morning by reminding you that your phone should be on mute, and also that if there was any fire drill or anything, now that I have Tina beside me, that we should be exiting the stage right and left, go to the front, back to the back parking lot where Madame Halliday will meet us to see that we're all there and safe. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start. Roll call.
District 1, Carrie Ann Parsons Salzman.
District 2, Jesse Garrett. District 3, Dustin Ensign.
District 4, Charles Cranston.
District 5, Lynn Longmire.
District 6, John Welch.
District 7, Ted Eggenbarth.
District 8, Niall Harding.
District 9, Gidget Oxner.
District 10, Brian Plessy Connell.
District 11, Diane LeBlanc. Okay, let's get started. Disclosure of interest. Is there any disclosure of interest this morning? Okay. Seeing none, we move on. The approval of the order of the day. No additions. The agenda is approved. The order of the day is approved. We move on to the approval of the municipal council minutes. First one being the regular council of January 20th, 2026. Do we have any corrections, omissions? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as presented. The next minutes are of the public hearing that was also on January 20th, 2026. Do we have any corrections or comments? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. And now we're moving on to page 13, where we have the recommendations that were presented at Committee of the Whole. I will be looking for volunteers to read the motions. Let's start with the first one, 5.1, Councillor Welch.
I move to appoint David Wright as building official and fire inspector for the municipality of the County of Annapolis in accordance with the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Harding. Any comments or questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. 5.2, Councillor Oxner.
I move to amend policy 135, fees as circulated, 7-day notice given on February 10th, 2026.
Thank you very much. Seconder, Councillor Welch. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Motion 5.3, Councillor Parsons Salzman.
I move to authorize the submission of a temporary boring refinancing resolution, TDR, to the minister in the amount of up to $325,000 for water capital refinancing pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole.
Seconder, Councillor Eigenbar. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Motion 5.4, Councillor Longmire.
I move to approve the memorandum of agreement between King's Transit Authority and the Annapolis Regional Emergency Management Organization, Annapolis REMO, as recommended by Annapolis REMO Advisory Committee in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Agambar. Comments or questions? Yes.
With the name change for King's Transit, should that be reflected in
In the motion
the motion?
at this point?
Yeah, I don't think it's officially official just
Okay.
yet, so it's fine to have King's Transit for now.
Thank you for that question.
Good point.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Look at number 5. 5.5, Councillor Cranton.
I move to direct the warden to support the Tidal Transit Authority budget at the upcoming Intermunicipal Services Board meeting pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you very much. Seconder, Councillor Carson Salzman. Questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. 5.6. Councillor Harding.
I move to receive the Valley Waste budget approval as information in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Cranton. Comments or questions? Councillor Hare.
Just a quick question, was there any word on the wood chips?
Only that one? There was like 4 questions. I will be talking to them tomorrow directly.
Perfect.
Just to that warden, I've also asked Andrew Garrett, the general manager, to come. He's coming in April or May, I can't remember which month.
To cancel.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. 5.7. Councillor Harding.
I move to rescind the motion made at the December 16th, 2025 council meeting to approve the donation of property located at Monroe Lake, Kannapolis County as a future public park and access to the lake, contingent on the ability to create 2 approved lots located north and south of the donated property in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Welsh. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Second part, Councillor Harding.
I move to approve the donation of property located at Monroe Lake, Annapolis County as a future public park and access to the lake as described within the request for decision in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Carson Salzman.
This one.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Motion 5.8. Councilperson Salzman.
I move to provide a one-time bridge payment of $16,991 for the Annapolis Valley Regional Library for the 2026-2027 fiscal year to the total amount of $147,691 pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Deputy Warden. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. 5.9. Councillor Welsh.
I move to approve the development of a intermunicipal service agreement for the towns of Annapolis Royal and Middleton for the provision of a shared economic development officer as presented pending budget approval pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Longmire. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to page 15. Under new business, we have a motion there to present. Need a volunteer? Deputy Warden.
I move to give final reading of Dubai Law 11 building, first reading having been given on January 20th, 2026.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Oxner. Comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Opposed, no? Seeing none, motion passed. Okay, so we have on page 18 to 22, the council motion tracking list for November, December, and January. This is always, I find, very nice to have. Thank you very much. We are moving on to councillor comments. We're going to start with District 1.
Greetings from District 1. It's great to see the sunshine and the longer days. Great skies ahead. Just to note, the Wilmot Neighborhood Watch meetings are the first Monday evening of the month at 6 p.m. at the Wilmot Community Center. We always try to have a guest speaker in attendance, and they're usually pretty good. The community pantry is located at 377 Stronach Mountain Road. Always nice to have things dropped off if you can, and take something if you need it. And then, just wanted to mention the Frugal Moms, that they have a raffle box on the go, 50/50. You can support it, it's great. I think, they try to use it to help pay for their storage container they have, to my understanding. And that's all I have for now.
Good, thank you very much. District 2.
Hello from District 2. I'll be short and sweet. I'll just highlight the jam sessions at 7 Monday nights at the Port George Hall and Wednesday night at 7 at the Brickton Community Hall. I know they rely on attendance for some of the proceeds to keep the halls running. I also can start to see an end to winter coming up, and so I'm just going to encourage anybody listening to get their winter maintenance done to their summer recreational equipment. Let's see more boats, more ATVs, more biking, and I'm looking forward to summer.
And I think that's where we all are. Thank you. District 4. Oh, 2. I forgot. District 2 comes 3. District 3.
Thank you. As has already been said, I'm happy that the past couple days have been sunny, which is a huge change. And you can actually start to realize that spring someday will be here. But at the same time, I'm very fortunate we've had a lot of snow, which is good for all the dryness we had last year. So it's going to be a busy couple weeks for council, and I know that we're all looking forward to budget season, as well as anything that arises out of that. So I would appreciate anyone that has any suggestions for the county. It'd be a good time to reach out to your councillors and know your support. As well as it's a good reminder that we are here to represent our municipality and our districts. So it's going to be an interesting conversations as we move forward. Also, I want to remind everyone that the monthly Lions Breakfast that is held at the Bridgetown Legion is the first Saturday of every month, as well as there's multiple different jam sessions and pub nights at the Legion, and it's nice that we see continued improvement from the public supporting that wonderful community center. It's just not the Legion, it's our main community hub, and it's nice to see that it's being used. And I'm starting to also see some work being done outside in preparations for the use of the ACOS track. So I know that they're super excited for summer to come. Hopefully we didn't have too much winter damage. Hopefully not. But that's all I really have. Just welcome, looking forward to better days ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, District 4. I count now.
Greetings from District 4. This past month, in addition to meetings, I have to say probably been busy with inquiries related to snow removal. That's been the common question and inquiry that I've got. And for the most part, it's more or less sorting out the differences between municipal and provincial and private. And in one case, one road that's not owned by anybody according to the PID, so it's always quite an interesting web to try to untangle, but I'm glad to try to help those folks figure that out. And just a reminder, I too am looking forward to spring, but as a reminder, winter isn't over yet, so to be cautiously optimistic, but always make sure you're prepared for a winter storm or a power outage, and check out some of our resources on emergency preparedness. Keep your generators just in case. And although I'm looking forward to spring, I will say this time of year, particularly this weekend, try to make use of what winter weather is left. This is the type of snow is good for snowshoeing and other winter activities, and encourage folks to check out the county's Facebook page, Annapolis County Recreation, as I see there's still a whole slew of programs and whatnot being offered, including the snowshoe loadout program. And if you haven't tried snowshoeing, I find it very fun, and the fact that we're able to lend that out to those who want to try it out is a nice little bonus. Upcoming events, the Granville Ferry Hall still has on their website, they have a lot listed, more than I can list now, but they have their full calendar of weekly exercise classes and monthly jam sessions. And on March 1st, 5:45 p.m. is their next community potluck, so if you're in that area, it is one of the fun community events. I've gone to them in the past, and they normally like to have some activities after their potluck and whatnot. And I don't see any events listed for the Round Hill Community Hall, but I do know they're also still open this winter, and they typically I'll see them update their calendar after I've given my council comments at so for those of you in the Round Hill area, keep an eye out on their Facebook, because they typically, I suspect they'll have 2 or 3 events in March. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, District 5.
Good morning from District 5. Good things are happening across District 5, and I'm always proud to share opportunities that bring us together. If you're looking for a positive way to start your weekend, and although this does not actually happen in my district, I feel it's worthy. It's growing and making lots of noise. Park Run takes place every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. at St. Patrick's Lane in Annapolis Royal. It's a welcoming 5K event, walk, jog, run, volunteer, or simply just cheer others on. It's movement and a wonderful way to stay active while meeting neighbors and friends. At Lower Granville Hall, February is full of activities, indoor walking, yoga options, and community coffee, crafts, and special gatherings. There is a small fee at the door to go towards supporting the hall. As always, weather can interrupt plans and conditions, so therefore always reach out, before heading out if the forecast looks uncertain. And don't forget, coffee awaits on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Over at Young's Cove Community Hall, coffee is on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. Lots to chat about, and as well a donation at the door. Friday evenings brings lively music jams, and on the last Friday of each month, there's a potluck supper and 50-50 draw. The evening begins around 5:30 with a small fee at the door. It's a wonderful space to gather, listen, play, and connect. These halls and events are the heartbeat of our rural communities, built on volunteers, which we celebrate. And that's going to be coming up really shortly. Participation and our shared spirit. As we move through the month of February, we're also recognizing African Heritage Month and Heritage Day, a time to honor the history, culture, and contributions of African Nova Scotians, and to reflect on the diverse heritage and that strengthens our province and our county. Community matters, connections matter, and I hope to see you out and about. Thanks.
Thank you very much. District 6.
Greetings from District 6. This past month has been a full and meaningful one across the district and the county. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to spend some time exploring the county community forest in Greywood on snowshoes on one of those crisp blue sky winter days that remind us all of why we live here. Seeing the forest in winter offered a different perspective on its scale and beauty, and I look forward to visiting in the coming seasons as the landscape changes. It's a tremendous shared asset and a reminder of the long-term value of thoughtful land stewardship in our communities. Our local trail systems continue to see strong seasonal use as well. Upper Clemens Trails has been particularly well enjoyed this winter with excellent conditions for walking and snowshoeing. As we move towards spring, it's a wonderful time to get outside and take advantage of this community resource. I encourage residents to check out the county website for trail updates and information about upcoming events. I've also been in meetings with several community groups to discuss local growth plans, emerging priorities, and ongoing concerns. Conversations have ranged from snow removal to garbage collection challenges during recent storms to broader discussions about how we prepare for responsible growth in our communities. These discussions have always been helpful in grounding decisions in real lived experience. There have been many events happening across the district as well, which is always encouraging to see this time of the year. From community breakfast to winter activities to volunteer-led gatherings, it's clear the strength of our community, our county continues to rest in the dedication of people that show up and make things happen. A big thank you to the many volunteers that keep our halls, rinks, and organizations active even in the colder months. I continue to see interest in my district as a place to live and invest. It's encouraging to see this ongoing interest in our local communities. My focus remains on ensuring that any growth aligns with our planned framework, infrastructure capacity, and long-term community character. We're now headed into the heart of budget season, which is always one of the most important and demanding times of the year. The decisions we make over the coming days will help shape service level, capital investments, and tax impacts. I'm committed to approaching this work carefully and responsibly, balancing fiscal prudence with the need to continue investing in infrastructure, environmental resilience, and quality of life across the county. As always, I welcome feedback from residents and appreciate the many conversations that help inform this work. Thank you.
Thank you. We are at District 7.
Thank you. Well, as most of, or all of my previous, the folks that have spoken before me here, it's certainly been a long, wintry winter, that's for sure. And I'd like to just take a moment to thank the Public Works Department. I know that they've worked a lot of nights and a lot of early mornings and weekends and doing the best they can. We've had an exceptional amount of snow this year, so thank you for those folks that do that as well. I'd like to remind everybody about all the events and activities, as most of my colleagues have mentioned here already. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this. There's 44 community halls in the county of Annapolis, and they play a huge role in gluing our communities together, and all the events and the volunteer work that they do is just exceptional. And I'd just like to take a few moments to highlight some of the things that are happening in District 7 in our area at this point. So again, the Bridgetown Legion, which is kind of like the hub, as my colleague Deputy Warden said earlier, for a lot of activities in the Bridgetown area, but also for the whole community that comes together. And so I just want to highlight some of the items that they have. So Sunday nights from 7 to 9 is Fun Darts Nights. Mondays at 1 p.m. is chair yoga for seniors and those with mobility issues, which is a great opportunity for those folks to get out and get some exercise as well. On Tuesdays, from 10 to 11 in the morning, is senior exercise class. And 7 to 9 p.m. is fun cribbage, and all are welcome. So Thursdays from 7 to 9, open mic, come share your musical talents, and I think they put on a good supper, a special supper at that night as well, so lots of folks are coming out and enjoying that as well. And of course, there's the big Lions breakfast on the first Saturday of each month. The Centerley Community Hall has weekly Tai Chi, Fridays from at 10 a.m. The Bridgetown Pickleball Association has their evenings, Wednesdays and Fridays, and of course they're inside this year in the wintertime at the BRCS, and they take place from 7:30 to 9:30. And everybody's welcome, particularly newcomers. That's a really growing community event there, and it's of course in the summer they have it outdoors at the tennis. The Paradise Community Hall hosts their craft and chat sessions on the first and third Thursday of each month from 6:30 to 8:30. Again, all are welcome at the Paradise Community Hall. Today, of course, is Shrove Tuesday, and the St. James Anglican Church is having their annual pancake supper from 5 until 6:30. I'd also like to say that the Bridgetown Food Bank Society is looking for volunteers to be on their board of directors. It's not a position for working at the food bank itself, but to be on the board itself, the board of directors. So they're saying that what's entailed there is basically quarterly meetings. 4 times a year they have a meeting There's not a lot of time involved, but they really need some folks to help out with that volunteer effort as well. They can inquire online, or they can check at the food bank itself on Middle Street. And just one more item. So Sunday, February the 22nd, the West Dalhousie Community Hall is hosting a brunch, particularly for, well, not just the community itself, but for the firefighters that were, that helped save the community last year. So mark that in your calendar, February the 22nd. Come on out to the West Dalhousie Community Hall to support that effort. Thank you from District 7.
Thank you very much. District 8.
Thank you. So greetings from District 8. February's been a pretty busy month for me after a lot of birthdays and a lot of shoveling. So, as many other people have said, there's been a multitude of issues arise in my district with garbage collection and snow clearing. So I've made some calls to advocate or on behalf of residents. But I would remind everyone that if you call the 1-800 numbers, or if you Google Valley Waste, you can see their number. And I've had really good luck with calling them. And in most cases on these storm days that we've had, the trucks are running late. But it seems to me, for the most part, they do show up eventually. I know my stuff usually gets picked up at 7, and one day it didn't get picked up until 2 or 3. But, and if they do miss, then they're more than happy to take double your amount the following week. So just been dealing with some of those issues. And I would say the same thing with the TIR hotline as well. I've had good success calling them. Usually they're pretty good. I'm looking forward to the upcoming budget discussions, and I'm confident that we'll be able to stay on track for our fiscal stability that we've achieved and has been ongoing, and also looking at some really important projects that are on the books for, you know, improving the county and improving accessibility and all sorts of things for the residents. So I'm happy to see that. And I did want to take a moment today to recognize the tragedy that took place in Tumbler Ridge, BC. Unfortunately, we've had some experience with mass casualty tragedies in Nova Scotia as well. And I know that me personally, my thoughts have been with the families that were affected in that shooting, and I can't begin to imagine what that is like. So I just wanted to say that my thoughts are with them, and it's a good time, I think, to also mention that we should remember to take the time, because mental health is such a big issue. It's important to take the time to check in on your friends, your family, your neighbors. Just pop in, say hello, or if you see someone and you think something might not be quite right, it's sometimes all it takes is to just reach out and say, hey, how's it going? So I just wanted to take that opportunity to mention that. And other than that, I'm looking forward to the spring, and I'm looking forward to putting my snowblower and shovel away. So let's get there. Thanks very much.
I agree, but I can't make that happen. I think if we could all whip up a wand, it'd be great.
Yeah.
District 9.
Greetings from District 9. Everyone has mentioned winter is almost over. I share those thoughts and hopes. Obviously, the worst is probably past us. We might have another storm or two, but we're looking forward to spring. January's been quiet in District 9. Our planning staff committees have been very busy. We're looking forward to moving ahead with our proposed plans that have been developed. We have a public meeting later this morning for the East End plan. And budget season is here, so this is a very busy time for all of us. And hopefully we will come up with the best budget possible for our county and our citizens. And it's also grant season, so I have decided that I'm going to return to my Thursday mornings at the satellite office, the last Thursday of each month, from 10 until 12 at 291 Marshall Street in Middleton. And if anybody needs a hand with grants, I'm available to assist. And they can be a little daunting for some, and a little helping hand can make a difference. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much. District 10.
Greetings from District 10. I'll start with The Lawrencetown Village, the new doctor starts February 23rd. They're gonna spruce up their village signs. Some need to be new and some just need to be painted up. They're gonna spruce up their signs going in and out of the village on number 1 and 201 this spring. Department of Environment has notified them that they no longer have to report water qualities or anything to them unless they're requested. So they don't have to report to them unless the request comes in. The village rate, because of the increase of assessment, the village has voted on staying the same rate as their village rate supports the village. The Lawrencetown Legion is a very busy spot. They're always on Facebook and website there advertising their darts night and their seniors health program and stuff like that. The rink is open. They're having another tournament and looking at a third tournament because they had so many teams apply that they couldn't house them all the last one. So that'll be 3 tournaments this season that they're gonna be going. I think they had 30 requests for teams to play.
Nice.
And that was from CFB Greenwood to Woofle to Halifax. There's teams all over the province that come to that little rink to those tournaments. It's 4-on-4, and you've gotta have good set of legs.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not hoping for winter to pass too fast. I live in Nova Scotia because of the seasons. If I didn't like the seasons, I guess I probably wouldn't live there. There's lots of snow. Skidooin is phenomenal.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
In the back country, in around where the wildfire was, there's still roads with not a track on them. So when you go on those non-brand trails or roads, first guy's got his job cut out, but after that, it's phenomenal Skidooin. The lakes, lots of ice on the lakes this year. Because of the snow, water comes to the surface quite often because the weight of the snow pushes the ice down, and if there's cracks in the ice, even though there's 12 to 14 inches of ice, water will seep up through, and you hit slush spots, and it gives your heart a little flutter.
I would
But
hope.
it's safe. It's safe now. Right now, it's safe. It's nice to get out there. I have a four-wheeler and a side-by-side, but I'll tell you, snowmobiling in the wintertime, when you go out, you see the activity of the wildlife. I thought there was no rabbits left in Nova Scotia, but phenomenal amount of rabbit tracks down through Roxbury, but no results.
Interesting.
They're hiding.
They all moved into Roxbury.
They're hiding.
But, yeah, so ice fishing has come back on par. A lot of lakes over the past few years haven't been safe to go. But the ice fishing, if little kids especially love to go ice fishing, there's in the angler book, it shows you which lakes are up and more up toward backside of Kempville or Waterville in that area. There's ice huts up here on the river. Haven't seen them for years. They're out for rent. I heard $50 a hut. You can go out and smelt fish. So there's lots of winter activity. The trail maintenance, I want to give a shout out. I don't go on the groomed trails because I like going through the woods and going to camp and enjoying that part of it. But I know the volunteerism keeping the groomed trails is phenomenal. And they put in long mornings and long nights with the trail machines and the groomers. But excellent. Hope it stays for at least another 6 weeks. Had some questions called on the tax sale, but other than that, things are good. And that's my report from District 10.
Thank you. I'm glad you know how to make your ticker go faster. Test it out, see if it still works. Good on you. District 11, and in District 11, I hope that you had a great weekend enjoying Heritage Day and spending time with your family, because it was certainly a beautiful weekend. So I didn't have to worry about shoveling snow, and nobody else did, which was great. Secondly, I spent a lot of time watching the Olympics, just because it's the Olympics. And one particular spot I've been watching and was the speed skating, because Caitlin, the Deputy Warden's daughter, is in speed skating, and it was like, I was telling him yesterday, I was ecstatic when the Maritimer won, because I knew that she would probably, or I thought, would know the lady, Megan Courtney. So, what?
Both, Courtney and
So therefore, and I called him up and I said, is she ecstatic? He said, yeah. She even has her autograph. I said, excellent for Caitlin. So I was quite excited for her. For the Three Rivers Community Center, I want you to check out to see what's going on the Facebook page, because as you know, all our communities are doing something different. And for sure, there are so many community centers out there that are doing excellent stuff and classes, and that'd be dancing or crafts or anything. Yoga, I could go on, but to put it to a point that if you look around and check out their Facebook pages, you will have a place to go or do something if you wish to go. So, which is great to know. Also, I would like to mention that we've been talking about a lot about these lively music jam sessions, and every time I go by in the evening, I think it's Wednesday night or Thursday night, I see in the Wilmot Community Center that they have a big number of vehicles, and there's got to be some foot stomping music there, as far as I'm concerned, because it's loaded with cars. So if that's something on your agenda, Councillor Hare, maybe you'd like to go do some foot stomping music there. I'll go with you, I'll watch. Anyway, for this time, thank you very much, and there's a lot of things in our agenda for this month and for probably a little while coming up, but we will all stick together and make it work so that we can have the best for our county. So that's our councillors' comments for today. So right now, we're waiting for our 11 o'clock public meeting. So I guess we will call for a recess at this moment, and we'll wait till 11 o'clock for the presentation of the public meeting. Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome to the public hearing for the Eastern Area Secondary Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw. We are going to start with a few remarks. The purpose of a public meeting is to permit members of the public to make their views known to council concerning the East End Area Secondary Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw. All comments throughout the public hearing is required to be addressed to the chair, which is to me. The chair will provide an opportunity for the public input and will ask that people speaking identify themselves so that their comments may be recorded in the minutes of these proceedings, and that the person speaking identify if they are speaking in favor or against the application. The comments from council members are asked to be held until all public comments are heard. Thank you. Okay, so we will start with an information report from Madame Botang. Okay, Madame Botang?
Okay, thank you. So this presentation will begin with background of the Eastern Planning Area, summary of engagement, including public meetings that inform the document shall follow. Next, we will discuss the vision and goals for the Eastern Planning Area. We will also discuss the proposed designations and zones, and finally conclude with staff recommendation and the next steps. The Eastern Planning Area documents were last reviewed in 2012. Since the last review, there has been no amendments. Major shifts, including national and provincial policies, economic trends, and climate impact have emerged, creating new challenges and opportunities for this area. The Eastern Area Advisory Committee commenced the plan review in March of 2022 by municipal staff, as initiated by Municipal Council. Due to staff shortage, CND Community Design aided for some time from the end of 2024 to the beginning of 2025 as a consultant. Municipal staff took over the review in May of 2025 to complete the plan. During the review process, consultation with various stakeholders and informative sources were undertaken, including meetings with the Town of Middleton Public Works Department, meetings with the various municipalities of the County of Annapolis departments, such as municipal operations, recreation, and building officials, a meeting with Halifax Regional Municipalities Wildfire Mitigation Program Manager, multiple meetings with the Eastern Area Advisory Committee, and a Planning Advisory Committee meeting. The draft documents were also sent to the Provincial Planning Department for their review and comments. A survey was released to all community members who own land, live, or work in the planning area. The survey received about 370 valid responses. An open house and community forum was also held at the Beaumont Community Center. Additionally, 4 focus groups were also identified, namely property owners of the proposed mixed-use corridor zone, Nectar Soil Class 7, Lily Lake area, and farmers. 8 workshops and information sessions were held for these focus groups to discuss the impact of the potential changes with relevant property owners. 8 public information meetings authorized by the Eastern Area Advisory Committee were held to review the proposed documents, engage with the public on the present policies from the committee, and respond to public questions. Members of the public who could not attend any of the sessions were given the opportunity to send a comment via email. Details of the focus group and public information meetings was attached to your package. The final draft documents were prepared based on input from the public, various stakeholder consultations and focus group meetings, as well as comment from the Eastern Area Advisory Committee and the Planning Advisory Committee. Based on the inputs from the Area Advisory Committee and the community members, the following vision statement was created: that the Eastern Planning Area of Annapolis County will be a welcoming rural community that prioritizes the development of diverse, accessible, and sustainable housing options by supporting thoughtful growth that meets the needs of residents at all stages of life. The area will maintain its rural character and agricultural values while also attracting newcomers and strengthening community well-being. When reviewing planning documents, the Municipal Government Act requires that the document be reasonably consistent with the Nova Scotia's 5 statements of provincial interest, which guide municipal land use planning and development to ensure sustainable growth and responsible land management. Based on the vision statement and the 5 areas of the statements of provincial interest, which include housing, flood, drinking water, agriculture, and infrastructure, staff came up with goals that also align with the inputs from the public, the committee, and other stakeholders involved in the process. The goals include Goal 3, to preserve and enhance the rural character of the Eastern Planning Area. Goal 7, ensuring that development and servicing of land in the planning area occurs in an environmentally safe manner, protecting natural habitat and other valued environmental features and reducing pollution. And Goal 10, to encourage a diverse blend of farms, agri-tourism, and accessory agricultural uses that reflect a range of sizes, practices, production capabilities, and products with a focus on encouraging more sustainable farming opportunities, or communities, Based on the goals, we came up with 8 designations for the future land use map. So that's what we have on our screen. The proposed designations include neighborhood, commercial, mixed-use corridor, rural, agriculture, industrial, public use, and open space and conservation. Out of the 8 designations came 13 proposed zones. So to begin with, we have the low-density residential, the R1 zone. So this zone encompasses the existing subdivisions or low-density areas in the planning area. The R1 zone is proposed to allow a maximum of 2-unit residential dwellings and prevents the intrusion of inappropriate commercial uses, other than through a permitted list of home occupations. Limited number of certain household livestock are allowed in this zone, based on public consultation and input from the Eastern Area Advisory Committee. The second zone would be the R2 or the medium density residential zone. It's intended to be a buffer between the low density and the multi-unit residential zone in the planning area. And these areas are also have the potential for medium residential densities to be developed. This zone is also intended to support growth and infill development while retaining the existing character of the planning area. The R2 zone prevents intrusion of inappropriate commercial uses other than a permitted list of home occupations as well. A limited number of household livestock are allowed in this zone. The R3 zone, mainly areas serviced by municipal water or sewer, or appropriate for the future expansion of municipal service to permit a higher density or multi-unit residential development. To mitigate any spillover or environmental effect of multi-unit residential or high-density residential development, stormwater management plans are required. Next, we have our commercial zone, and these are areas along Highway 10 and 201 that predominantly accommodate retail, personal services, or office users directly serving the public, which are suitable for a mix of residential and commercial use, and are either serviced or could be serviced by municipal water or sewer, with standards relating to such uses including provision for lot requirements, parking, and signage. We also have a highway commercial zone. These areas are suitable for wide ranges of dense uses and support a connectivity corridor between major community nodes, mostly along highways 10 and 201. This zone is proposed to allow a variety of residential, administrative, commercial, and institutional, as well as light industrial uses, with standards relating to parking, lot requirements, and signage. The next zone will be a mixed-use corridor zone, and these are areas along Brooklyn Road and Junction Road, suitable for a wide range of dense areas and supports a connectivity corridor. The zone is proposed to allow a variety of residential, commercial, cultural, tourism, institutional, and light industrial uses, and shall be permitted with standards relating to parking, accessory buildings, and signage. Lily Lake Protected Residential Zone is not part of the existing Eastern Planning Area. This zone is currently part of the county-wide planning area known as Lake Erie Low Density Zone. The Eastern Planning Area boundary is proposed to extend to include Lily Lake based on the countywide policy of the municipal planning strategy to add lands around Lily Lake to the Eastern Planning Area. This zone is proposed to permit single unit dwellings, water supply and distribution uses, conservation-related uses, and structures and runoff filtration requirements. After meeting with the Town of Middleton Public Works Department, Lily Lake is determined to no longer be beneficial to be used for the town's backup water supply, hence the need to retire this water protection with the province. If the province of Nova Scotia and the town officially remove this designation, Lily Lake Protected Residential Zone shall cease to exist and shall be removed from the land use bylaw and the zoning map. This shall also result in a change in the future land use map to alter the designation of this area to rural. The rural zone is also established to accommodate a variety of low to medium density residential, commercial, agricultural, recreational, light industrial, primary forestry, and fishery uses. The agricultural zone protects suitable agricultural land within the planning area and apply to lands identified as currently being used for agricultural operations. The provisions for this zone were outlined based on input from farmers' focus groups and property owners in the agricultural zone and the Eastern Area Advisory Committee. The aim of the agricultural zone is to limit sprawl onto farmlands and the subsequent loss of farmlands to alternate forms of development, mitigate conflicts or complaints by requiring larger setback between farm operations and neighboring residential users, and also restricting the rezoning of agricultural lands to any other zone. We have a new zone created called the Aggregate Related Industry Zone. The province has sole jurisdiction over the extraction of minerals and any uses accessory to the extraction of minerals, but the impact of the surrounding land uses is important to residents and businesses of the planning area. The Agriculture-Related Industry Zone was created to control uses to the extraction and the future reclamation of the site and reflect any existing identified agricultural extraction operations. The only properties zoned agriculture-related industry on the proposed zoning map have agricultural potential. Therefore, they will remain in the agricultural designation on the future land use map, despite being in the aggregate-related industry zone. Certain uses in the aggregate-related industry zone shall be approved through development agreements, and land reclamation requirements are outlined in the proposed land use bylaw. We have our institutional zone, which allow a wide range of public and private institutions, such as government offices, community centers, public and private schools, religious institutions, along with residential dwellings accessory to churches or religious institutions, funeral home, medical practitioners' offices, and clinics with appropriate standards. The industrial zone is proposed to allow a wide range of commercial, warehousing, manufacturing, assembling and processing uses, while also allowing less intrusive uses such as automotive service facilities and office buildings. Heavy industrial development such as construction debris disposal sites, waste transfer and process facility, or a waste disposal facility shall be considered through development agreement process. The open space zone is located in areas that contain the town of Middleton's water supply wellhead area, as well as land that is prone to flooding or environmental constraints and unsuitable or limited for development. The open space zone is limited to minimum or to minimize the negative impact of development on the quality of water supply and water courses. Permitted uses in this zone include water supply and distribution uses, conservation-related uses and structures, parks, trails, and recreational uses. So to conclude, the proposed draft secondary planning strategy and land use bylaw align with the municipal government, the statement of provincial interest, and the priorities and goals of council. The documents are based on community input and align with the vision of the East End planning area. Policies and regulations outlined in these documents are informed by a collaborative analysis of best practices identified through jurisdictional scan of other municipalities and successfully employed by these municipalities. Currently, this is what the community wants, and this is what staff is proposing. Planning documents are living documents, and there may be the need for staff and council to consider amendments to the statement and the sections of the LUP in the future. Staff is requesting that municipal council approve the document as developed in accordance with the review process. Staff recommends that pursuant to the first reading given on January 20th, 2026, in accordance with the recommendation for approval from PAC, and after holding a public hearing thereon, council give second and final reading to consider their intention to adopt the document, and the maps attached as appendices A, B, and C of the report dated February 17, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. For information purposes, council has received an email from Stephanie Purcell, and we have all read it. And it agrees that she says that I am writing to express my full support for the revised East End planning bylaws. Okay? I also have a list. We'll move on to oral presentations. And I have two on my list that would like to present. The first person on my list that would like to present is Mr. Colin Lowe. If Mr. Lowe, you would come up to the podium and state your name, if you're for or against. And we need the area and the area you live in.
Good day, my name is Colin Lowe. I live at 118 Walton's Lane, and I have developed a mini home subdivision on Scotia Lane.
Are you for or against, before I let you go? For? Okay.
Anyway, lot 13 is left, and it consists of over 27 acres, and I would like to develop it as continuation of Scotia Lane to build more mini homes on that Scotia Lane property of mine. And I would just, I provide affordable housing. These homes are all 1,000 square feet per unit that I have built, and I have completed 14 units since 2008, and I'm just to a standstill for any more development on my property that to keep going. And like I say, lot 14 is over above 27 acres, and I would like to extend my mini home subdivision going down towards the Black River on my properties.
Thank you.
Okay.
That it?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lowe. The second one on my list is Mr. Thomas Heitman.
I'm Thomas Seidman. I'm for the changes. I have 8979 Highway 201 listed in Nicktow, and it's currently zoned institutional. We're looking to have it zoned R3 to put potential buyers are looking to put some multi-units in the main building, and there's 6 other structures there that can be converted to housing as well. So that's all I got.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and. Okay, so that is all I have on my list.
Where was that?
He's, could you say your address, specific address again?
8979 Highway 201 in Nicktow.
Did you get that? 8971?
No, it's Highway 201.
Counselor? Okay. Okay, so I have no other oral presentations at this time. Are there any other oral presentations? Anybody who wishes to speak? Oh, yes, Madam.
Perhaps where we had a few latecomers, you may want to ask if there's anyone else in the audience
Yeah.
that would like to speak.
That's what I was going, thank you, and I, being we were sitting down and the list of those who wish to speak was in my hands and others came in, are there anyone else from our audience that would like to come up and speak on the planning? Seeing none, no jumpers up there. Okay, well, we'll move right along then, thank you very much. Okay, so now it's the counselors. Our council members will have to ask questions or have any comments about the East End planning. Now is your turn. Who shall start? Any starters? Councillor Hare?
Just a quick question regarding the second oral presentation we had. I see the land is still drafted zoned as institutional.
Yes.
Was changes made to accommodate these acts originally?
If you may, would you like to come up, please? Both, maybe. Okay.
I'll see.
So it came to our attention probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, just as we were getting ready to advertise for public hearing, that the property at 8979 was listed for sale. It was the Rehabilitation Center, formerly the Falcourt Inn. There we go.
There you go.
So it came to our attention. We kept it in the institutional zone because we didn't know at the time, it wasn't brought forward to us that there was another vision for the property. We thought it was still being used as the rehabilitation center, and then conversations have taken place since then.
Is that answer suffice?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
So
Councillor?
I didn't catch 100%, that's gonna be, it's able to be changed to R3?
What we, that's the will of council.
So we should have a motion to change that section? Yes. So we need somebody to make that motion?
No, when you get
When
into
you go back to council.
What?
When you go back to council.
Yes, yes, so you know. Yeah, okay. All right, any other comments?
Just
Yes, Councillor
a
Hare?
follow up on that. What was the requested zone?
R3.
R3. Okay. I do have a comment. Did we look at the map and when we look at the East End, under borderline of Kings County in the R2, there was a section, as you would, we were talking about that should be changed on the map itself. This section should be in there of the R1.
Yes, and I haven't had a chance to speak with Barbara to determine if we meant to leave that in the R3 zone. So here's my map here. Bring up the map. It's just one little tiny corner. Oops. Way over here.
So it's way over. Okay.
So, yeah.
There's a piece there,
Yeah.
that last corner piece.
Absolutely. So the question that came up the other day, Barbara, is, this is one parcel of land, but we mapped this small little corner, which is part of that parcel in the R1. Did we mean to do that, and should that be changed to the R2?
Yeah, it should, if it's part of it, it should
It
change.
should be changed to the R2, that little corner. So again, when that little tiny, yeah. So again, just a mapping error. Catch up now when you go into council council will make that amendment to make that parcel wholly in the R2, should that be council's wish.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's move on. Any other statements or questions about Councilor Deputy Warden?
I just have a question about the request to go from institution to R3. Is there any issue from the planning perspective of changing that? I do know that there's a waterway that goes through there, or down there,
That's right.
but the property is fairly large. So.
And the property is very large. Barbara's telling me that she sees no interest in any issues with it.
So no issue? Perfect. All right. I want to ask at the time.
She's not feeling the best, so you're stuck with me for a few minutes.
Okay, Councilor Connell?
So in Colin's request, I see that whole area is all zoned R3, so he's allowed to.
Yes. Unfortunately, with that property, he's limited in actually subdividing it. He's fully aware that should this document go through, he would go through a site plan approval to have multiple dwelling units on that parcel of land.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Maybe I should sit over there and make my comment now.
Really good questions.
So I want, okay. All right. Seeing no more questions, no more comments. Madame Bent is off the hook, and so is Madame Baudin. Well, not yet, but she's off the hook. Madame Baudin will come back up here and do our next steps.
So following council's consideration of comments at the public hearing, any council approved amendments to the proposal shall be made by staff. Following council stated adoption of the documents, the municipal clerk shall send 4 copies of the documents to the provincial planning director for review. If required, the document to be reviewed by the minister, and following the approval, a notice of adoption shall be advertised. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much, Madame Baudin. Being that we have concluded this part of the public hearing, I'd just like to say thank you for the public to coming in and being part of our public hearing. And we will close this hearing and return to our council meeting. Okay? Okay. Let's go to our regular meeting. Okay, so.
Right here.
Who has, oh, good. Thank you.
Well, it's on the staff.
Good enough, perfect. All right. Deputy Warden? I found it. I found it.
I move that pursuant to the first reading given on January 20th, 2026, in accordance with the recommendation for approval from the Planning Advisory Committee, and after holding a public hearing thereon, Municipal Council gives second and final reading to consider their intention to adopt the proposed East End Planning Area Land Use Bylaw Secondary Planning Strategy documents and maps attached as appendices A, B, and C of the report dated on February 17th, 2026.
Okay, thank you. I need a seconder for that motion. Councillor Hare. All right, now, here it comes. We have questions, comments, statements? Here we go.
Okay, I have two amendments that I would like to state. The first one being rezone the property located at 8979 Highway 201, PID 051-86515, from institutional zone to multi-unit residential zone. This will also change the future land use map designation from public use to neighborhood designation.
Would it be possible to see that on the large screen on the map?
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Well, I just want to do that.
Seconder?
Yep.
So you have the motion, Vanessa? No. Do you have the written motion there that we
Yes.
can provide to?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The seconder will be Parsons Sullivan.
Yep.
Okay. All right. The blue zone is the zone that we're talking, the institutional to changing. So. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none? All in favor of the amendment? Say aye.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Opposed, no? Motion passed. Okay, now we have a second one.
The second one. The addiction and rehab center has been defined in the land use bylaw, but is not added to the list of uses. So I would like to add addiction and rehab center to the definition for institutional use.
Okay, that's a motion. I need a seconder for that part. Councillor Khan. Okay, any questions or comment about this change? Right. No questions or comments? Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. All right, we have a few others. Councillor Hare.
I have, I believe, 3 I'd like to make.
Okay, let's start with one.
After sitting on both East End Advisory and PAC, I've seen the formations document come about, and overall I'm satisfied with this document as it sits today. As I believe it checks the boxes off we saw during our public engagement, and we'll be willing to vote to pass this document as is right now. But that doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement. In going forward with such a lengthy document, a considerable change to what we had before, I'm sure there will be calls for change in the future. I, however, would like to make a couple changes now that I believe are due, that fall in line with the work we did with this document. Now that I've had time to look over and think over this final draft. For starters, 5.4.4.8 on page 74
If you just hold on till everybody gets there.
of the draft land use bylaw.
74.
Industrial uses in the RU zone.
Is everybody there?
This policy was created to be flexible with prospective companies looking to do business in this area that might need to be larger in size, while also maintaining control over potential conflicts. I believe this is a much needed policy, as one can never predict everything, but I believe the clause regarding 50% maximum of lot area needs to be removed to reflect the fact that when businesses are looking for property to establish, landowners may only wish to subdivide the lot size needed for an operation to run. So if a prospective company needed 10 acres to run, for example, I wouldn't want them to see them have to approach somebody to get 20 acres because of this clause. With the amount of rural zone area we have, that is truly rural, I believe this is very restrictive to potential industry to set up in the areas that would have the least amount of effect into neighborhoods. If we look at the map, could we scroll out on that just to,
Which way you, oh, that's not, one of you could move the map so that,
just scroll out to see
please,
the whole thing?
you wanna see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we look at the whole map, it would make sense for some of these smaller lots, encased in larger rural lots, to be able to have said industry without using up a lot of land. So I would like to, I move to amend 5.4.4.8 to remove the words uses up to 50% of the total lot area. So it simply reads, larger industrial uses shall be considered by site plan approval.
Did you capture that?
Do you have a second?
So,
No. Well, yeah,
just,
yeah, I'll
just,
second
just
it for-
what?
get on to those.
Will you second it? Okay, seconded by Councillor Connell,
But I have a question.
and then you have, okay. Councillor,
So, a question for staff, so if the 50% is taken out and it's done by site plan approval, would there be appropriate setbacks from button properties? That would be my
Yes,
concern.
we have the setbacks there. Just a moment, I just wanna, is it the land use bylaw?
Yes.
74.
874.
5.4. Yep, so our setbacks are sufficient. The 50% was just to make sure that stormwater management is required because it's gonna take like enough space, a lot of it is gonna be built up. And also, landscaping and other uses, but I don't think it will hurt if we take the 50% because we have enough setback in our land use bylaw.
Okay.
thank you. Are there any other questions?
If I may.
Yes, sir.
So just before you vote on this motion or any other amendments that may come forward, I just wanted to say that if you make too many amendments here, what you could risk doing is kicking this back to Area Advisory Committee, because this is the document that's being brought forth. The council, you already did a first reading. If you change too much, you're not reading the same document anymore. And I know there's certain people sitting in the back that are waiting for this to get approved.
Yes.
If you make too many amendments, and certain ones, like, again, this one is probably fine, doesn't really change the feel or the nature of it. But if there's other things that get changed, staff are gonna have to say to you, you're probably going past a certain amount, that now you're gonna kick it back to AAC, which basically starts the process again. Now, a lot of the work's been done, it would be faster, but you know that it takes months because it has to go to AAC, it has to go to PAC, and then a first reading and a second reading. So just wanted to share that with you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, Councillor Agumbara, what?
I'm glad you, CAO, brought that to our attention because as is often noted, and has been noted today, these are living documents. They can always be changed, right? The point being is to get the document on the books, get it off, It's taken 3 years to get it to this point, so we do really need to look at these amendments right now that can often be changed later, obviously, going through a process. So, bear that in mind.
Yes, thank you very much. From what I hear so far, we're okay. The changes have not interfered in anything. Okay. So we have an amendment on the floor. We have a seconder. Do we have any other questions or comments? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Okay, the amendment has passed. All right. Next.
I believe because that amendment passed, that I have to make an amendment now to the planning strategy that references this as well. On page 29.
Everybody ready? Okay. page
29, 4.3.1.5.
Yeah, it starts on the, okay, top of the page.
I move to remove, let me see what it says. I remove to remove the words, uses up to 50% of the total lot area.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So the statement will read, it is
the policy of council to consider larger industrial uses by site plan approval.
okay? Everybody got that? It is also the policy of council to consider larger industrial uses by site plan approval, removing up to 50% of the total lot area. Questions or comments? Seeing none? All in-
Seconder.
What? Just, oh, sorry. Seconder, Cranton. No comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Okay, you said you had another one.
Yeah, and something I believe just to be an oversight partly on my part, when considering backyard livestock,
Where are we at? We have a
On-
page?
on 4.21.2, on, I didn't write the page down on that.
Is that the land use bylaw?
Other land use bylaw, yeah. That is on page,
41 maybe?
Say the number again?
4.21.2 on page 42. Similarly to the Cornwallis planning area we passed early on, I just wanted to see rabbits also allowed. We allowed rabbits, and part of that is just 4-H is a big thing, and I mean, they are a cleaner animal too as well. So I just want to amend 4.21.2 to add after meat birds or rabbits, comma, after both mentions of meat birds. I don't think this is vastly changed the document, I think this is just,
That's gonna send it back, is it not?
I have a question. So what number? How many rabbits then?
I figured it'd be included, the way I had it worded, I hoped it'd be included within the 10.
10 rabbits?
Yeah, within the 10, so you have your
So you could,
ag lang fowl or your rabbits. I just figured that was.
so they could have 6 egg-laying fowls or 6 rabbits, not both.
Not both, no, not 6 and 6, it's 6 or 6.
So to a maximum of 10.
Yeah, add rabbits in both mentions after meat birds, because there's the 10 and the 6. I figure this is fairly minor, and this is, people were so laser focused on chickens, I figured just kind of got left out, and just keeping 4-H in mind.
They're only laser focused on the roosters. Okay. We have a motion on the floor that was just to add after birds or rabbits, but the total will be 10.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I need a seconder. Okay. Carson Sullivan? Councilor Carson Sullivan for the seconder. No roosters. Comments or questions? Deputy Warden.
I thought because we talked about the Cornwallis one, but I thought we put a sentence in there that just kind of opened up the caveat versus saying chickens and rabbits. I thought we had a generic, that would kind of open it up.
It did label, I think, rabbits, chickens, and there was one other thing, but it did list the 3.
Yeah, it was fowl or whatever.
No roosters.
Okay, no, that's all
Okay.
just curious.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no? Motion passed. Again? Go your visits. Okay, go.
I just see it appropriate to do the same thing to 4.21.1. That was for the R1 zone. This is for the R2 and 3 zones. So they have their own restrictions for animals, and it just lists ag, land, fowl, and meat birds. So it's just to do the same thing to that. So I move to amend 4.21.1 to add after meat birds or rabbits, comma, after both mentions of meat birds, same thing.
Okay. I need a seconder for that to add or rabbits. Councilor Carson Sullivan. Okay. Any questions or comments on that? We're putting the rabbits in, the little bunnies. You get rabbits brought to your house, so you better add them on. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed.
I got one last one. Promise. This one.
You know what you said. Last time I heard that, you had another one after that. Okay, go.
We had the comments on changing the document too much, but I would like to remind the purpose of the committees is to recommend recommendations to council, and it is council's final say in things. I do not think we need to completely go and alter the document, but it is council's final say. Council no longer sits in toll on PAC, and so for all councillors to have a say in these documents, I do believe it is allowable to make good changes without having to send it back to advisory committees. I don't think my next motion is all that substantial. Maybe others will feel differently, but last thing I had in mind is what I said most going door-to-door campaigning in my section of these communities. I'm getting there.
We gotta get to it.
I intended to maintain rural Annapolis County, and what we have makes it so great. And after rereading this document, there's one thing I believe we most importantly need to touch up on this document is the protection of agricultural lands, what makes our area up. We know this is the general consensus in our county that we need to protect our farmland. We see this on the front page of our turnout for general input packet here. I'd like to focus my attention to the concerns of land fragmentation, which inevitably lead to the development of farmland, a concern amongst all farmers, and the biggest challenges for farmers looking to expand or start is there are no longer any sizable plots of land. I do believe this document protects agricultural lands in the agricultural zone, which limit fragmentation already to once every 3 years in the agricultural zone. My concern is with the vast amounts of farmland that happen to lie in the rural zone. And if you scroll down just a little bit too, you see the full expanse of it, including the top. That do not achieve, in my opinion, the adequate protection against land fragmentation. I know this is tricky, as this zone has its purpose, and not everything can be zoned agricultural. But I do believe there's a solution that still allow for plenty of development, plenty of new development, while protecting some of our old farmlands. I move to add 5.4.4.9 titled Property Subdivision in Rural Zones. This will be added to, this is a new.
This is a new section,
Yeah.
so it would be 5.4.9.
It'll be on basically page 74.
Are we in land use or?
The land use bylaw, yep.
Right after industrial use.
So it'll be right after industrial uses. And so titled, Property Subdivision in Rural Zones.
That's a whole new thing, so now we gotta send it back.
To read, in the rural zone, lots over 15 acres shall not be subdivided more than once every 3 years and in no more than 2 lots. This is very similar to the fragmentation clause in the agricultural land. Open to changing the number, it's just.
Would you read that again?
You need to read it again,
Yeah.
so we can,
In the rural zone, lots over 15 acres shall not be
hold
subdivided.
on.
Shall not be subdivided more than once every 3 years into no more than 2 lots. And I can elaborate plenty further on why I don't believe this is far-fetched from it. I don't believe this needs to go back to another advisory, given a chance.
Okay, Ms. Hollander, would you read what you have, so we know you're clear?
He would like to add 5.4.4.9, the title Property Subdivision in Rural Zones, to read, in the rural zone, lots over 15 acres shall not be subdivided more than once every 3 years into more than 2 lots. Right?
Yep,
I
that's it.
need to know by you if it's right.
That's
Yeah,
what I have.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
waiting to see if I can elaborate.
Okay, you have the floor.
I need a secondary.
You're true. Seconders, anywhere? I don't, okay. Cranton, Councilor Cranton is our seconder. Now you wish to speak on this.
This bylaw, I believe, complements the intentions of this document and the public opinion we had. We see this in our general input package on the first page, as well as the second page, under the then proposed MX zone, on top of what we already know to be in the general public interest. But not only that, of the general public, it is on page 5 of the planning strategy. Under page 5. We see it under, we see to be under the statements of provincial interest. And reading off of the guidebook on implementing the statements of provincial interest from the Department of Municipal Affairs under 5.2B provisions for protecting agricultural lands. The first sentence reads, the limiting of number of lots. But forget the provincial government for a second, let's go back to the basics. Section 2.1, East End history in the planning strategy, which is just a page over on page 7, describes it well. The farms came first, and much of our farmland unfortunately lies against the roads where it's too convenient to develop. And looking at the map, let me bring that up just a quick second. I wish I had the time to total up the amount of actively farmed land in both the agricultural zone and the rural zone and compare the results. But one can guess they're close to each other. A lot of our farmland is along roadways. I mean, that's where the land was farmed. And if you scroll up a little bit to my district itself, I mean, this is all farmland right here in the rural zone pretty well. And I mean, a lot of what you've seen is rural zone. This bylaw provides some protection to what is left of the farmland along these corridors, the larger parcels that are economical to farm, while allowing for the smaller parcels to continue to develop, focusing their growth, because I mean, we aren't going to expect the large swaths of agricultural land that is currently forested to be completely clear-cut and developed into farmland. As to not ramble on too long, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to leave it at this for now. If you turn to page 13 of the planning strategy. The last sentence of 3.1, this area will maintain its rural character and agricultural values while attracting newcomers and strengthening community well-being. Look at G3. Preserve and enhance the rural character of the East End. G5, set aside suitable land. The motion does these three things. I just want to make sure my generation's grandchildren have a time, they get to grow up to be able to bike down the roads of fields like we do have now in the East End instead of just endless housing and development along roadways. Protection starts now. It's not a prohibition. It only prevents mass fragmentation because, to be honest, if somebody wants to develop a lot into a bunch of different parcels, they're going to be able to do it anyways. It just takes more time and discourages mass development. And I guess I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Warden, you're going to ask a question or make a comment? Anybody else? Be
So, definitely a lot to take in. I see the point and agree with certain parts of it because we do have a very unique county. But when I look and deep dive into some of this, I look at the fact of we have various different planning strategies where we have, this is just one small piece, plus a large piece. We have the East End, then we have the county-wide plan, and we have Bridgetown plan, we have Cornwallis plan, we have all these plans that we all look at separately. And I do agree because with certain things, because I have a lot of farming in my district. I actually live surrounded by farms, but I'm not a farmer myself. No way I can farm on my side plot of land. But to make a change as broad as this one, I don't know if I can get on board with it because of the implements that it's going to have broad wise. I would much rather if there was certain areas that we know is farming, like the area that the councillor picked out or pointed out that is currently listed as rural. and apparently it is being used for farming. I would much rather have that area designated versus making a broad statement for all of those areas. Because I hear the opposite in some ways from my constituents, where even the farmers had come up to me to say, listen, you know, it's a tough situation we're in, where we want to maintain our farms, because that's what they want to do, and which is 100%, we need farms. Without farms, we don't have food. Without food, we don't have a population. But it's a very fine line of what they can do to make their farms sustainable, and also to plan for the future for their family, which is very unfortunate that the reason we've had a lot of farms and families get away from farming is because the children have decided to move on to other industry or different things. Some of them come back. But this one is a tough one because I don't agree with the broad stroke that we're trying to do with rural use because of what it could be. So by putting the handcuff, like, there's multiple examples that you can point at on this map that would be affected by this 15 acres that are surrounded by people that have housing that could be turned into, or a family might buy it, or a parent might have it that wants to subdivide it to have their kids close, to have a family compound, which we're seeing more and more, because my family did it on the South Shore, where, you know, we had a plot of land that was 50 acres and subdivided it up between the kids and the grandkids. But I can't be on board for that broad change. I would much rather see targeted, because if you was to cross-lay the countywide plan over this plan, you would see the farming around it versus being in this centralized hub. Because my other understanding was part of this East End planning was to try to come up with a way to make us be prepared for the future and to be relevant with the growth that's going to happen. We know growth is going to happen. We need to be able to be resilient and prepared for that. We know that there's potentially another 1,000 people coming to 14 Wing. I would much rather see these people live in Annapolis County, to pay taxes in Annapolis County, than to see it go to a different one. We've already seen over the past decade, the people that work further up the line live in Annapolis County. You know, I was one of those members that worked in 14 Wing. I live in Annapolis County. So with all that being said, I can't support the amendment as it is on the floor because I feel it's way too broad for the East End planning. If we were having a discussion about the county-wide plan, maybe I would feel a little bit different. I just can't support this the way that it's being presented. I'd much rather see a targeted approach, which I believe we have, and I would be supportive if there was areas that we knew that are owned by people that are being farmed, that they wanted to keep it that way. I'd much rather see motions on the floor to change that like we did with the recent motion versus making a broad scope that I don't know if the general population within the East End, because that's also what we got to think about, would support that change. And I think it is a big enough change that it probably would have to go back.
Agree.
Because it is a bit of a handcuffing situation that I wouldn't feel comfortable agreeing with without having public input. Because I don't live in that area. And I don't know the counselors that are here would feel knowledgeable enough or comfortable enough to say, yeah, I believe that my constituents agree with that. But at the same time, I do want to commend people that bring their thoughts up. That's the whole point of having 11 counselors, is to have an open discussion, to brainstorm. Unfortunately, we don't always agree, but at the end of the day, we'll get there. So I will not be supporting this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Harding?
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Hare's sentiment, but I also agree with the Deputy Warden's statement. And I see that the agricultural zone already has a protection in place that reads very similar to the amendment that was brought forward. An existing lot may not be divided once every 3 years. So I think that I would have to agree that if there are rural zones that are being used for agricultural purposes, we should see them zoned as such, and then that provides that protection. It's built into that agricultural zoning already. Because like I said, I agree with Councillor Hare's statement that, you know, we want to be able to see farmers be able to have a successful farm and possibly pass that down to other generations, or people coming in that want to start farms. I agree with that completely. But I just think where we already have that protection written into this already, I don't necessarily at this moment see the benefit of also adding that into the rural area definition.
Thank you very much. Any other councillors? Councillor Crankin?
I also kind of support the sentiment from Councillor Hare, and again, being from a long family farming history in my family, I personally agree where he's coming from, and I know my parents and my grandparents, and they would all probably agree the same. It's just, you don't want to see farming precipitate. Not. I also agree with the broad approach more so than the targeted approach, because I think it could be applied more appropriately. So I do think it's something to keep into consideration. My concern at this time is hearing the concerns about changing the document too much. That I feel that this particular amendment puts us at risk of that. So I agree with the sentiment, but I don't think I can support the amendment at this point. If anything, I would like to revisit it through whatever mechanism we have for that as a future amendment.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I do see you, Councillor Hare. I just want to know if any other councillors would like to speak first. Councillor Hagenbauer, Councillor Oxon.
I won't take too much time to reiterate what's already been said here, but I do have I have concern with the motion itself at this point in time, particularly on this broad approach. But I'm also very concerned with changing this document at the 11th hour before it moves forward. We've had some history of some of those changes not working out so good. And if the wording is wrong or something happens, some minuscule little thing at the end of it could cause issues down the road. So I have a big concern with changing this document any farther than what we've already done here today.
Okay.
I don't disagree with the argument. I don't disagree with both sides of the argument. I'm just very concerned about the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Oxon.
I had a quick gander through. I mean, I've read the input from our focus groups. I don't see anything in that document that indicates we need to make the change proposed today. You know, it is the 11th hour. We're having our public hearing. We're going into final reading. The councillor proposing this sat on the committee and on PAC, so I think this should have come to light sooner. I'm not interested in this being kicked back to the committee, so I will be against it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other councillors? Because I'll leave Councillor Conlon.
Well, zoning, I've always had a hard issue with zoning, being on council for the long period I've been on. We promote in our county growth areas. And sometimes you have to give something up to keep that growth area in the growth areas we'd like to see grow in our county. Our deputy warden has brought information that's common. Greenwood is gonna grow. I'm also a part of liking to see some of those new job persons live in Annapolis County. And I think that when you handpick individual lots in between residential properties and put them into farming, we're gonna create our own problem. Because that's what zoning is about, is to try to keep the conflict out of council having to deal with issues. And I think that the rural area that's marked out is agriculture. In the east end, there is a fair amount of agricultural already protected. There's not gonna be any new roads built. And it's no matter what someone wishes or hopes and thinks that maybe our new road should be built along our mountain faces. Call the provincial government and ask them if they're gonna build any new roads in your lifetime. No.
No.
So, because it's a growth area and we wanna grow that area so we can hopefully provide sewer and water and build that area up, without having the input from the people that have purchased property there, their thoughts on it, we don't know. Maybe some of those larger lots along that road, people are sitting waiting to develop them. So I can't support that type of a brush on the east end. As we get out into our rural communities, I can see protecting farmland, that's farmland along the road. But this is a recognized growth area for the county. And we're protecting what farmland we can protect, but we also gotta allow for it to grow. So I can't support the way the motion is.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? Okay, Councillor Hare, would you like to finish?
Yeah, I don't disagree with what a lot of folks have been saying here and their concerns. Their concerns are rational, they do have meaning. But to say we didn't have input from the public, we did. And this is about farmland, and then farmland happens to fall in all zones, and it's gonna fall in some zones more than the others, but when we're just talking about farmland, we're talking about farmland. We're not talking about the agricultural zone, we're not talking about the rural zone, we're talking about farmland. And if our idea is to protect farmland, we have to look at all the farmland we have. And while I take grant that this northern parcel part, north of the 101, there is considerable amounts of farmland within the AG zone, but there is still plenty of forest in that AG. There's not actively farmed land, and it's the same thing with down south. There's more. Like this here is forest, and so it goes back to that. If we're trying to protect farmland, well, it's probably close to 60-40, 50-50 right now. It's under the agricultural zone and in the rural zone, and it's. If you want to talk about also protecting the rural character and the character of this area, well, I believe it goes hand in hand with directing the focus of our development within the area to grow. This is, if I'm not wrong, the largest secondary planning area we have. I think it is, by far. So this change that I was hoping to make today, I'm hoping to be action. Because we all, and it seems to be a general consensus for the most part around that we need to protect farmland. Well, what are we gonna do? Because I can't see us in any time in the near future ever coming back and having the staff capacity anytime soon to be able to go through and then cherry pick properties through. It'll be collage by the time we cherry pick properties through. This isn't a set of handcuffs either. To me, this is hardly protection at all. Because in the end, if somebody wants to subdivide, they're still going to be able to subdivide. So if farms are looking to, and again, if you truly want to protect farmland, it's fragmentation. That's the one protection for farmland, to make sure farmland is farmland, is to prevent fragmentation. But it still opens it up, so if a farmer wants to or needs to get out of a bind, he can still get out of it. If he's going to keep putting lots up and putting lots up and putting lots up, well, it's not a farm anymore. So if I ask, if we're not going to support this amendment here today, what action are we going to have? When are we going to do something to protect farmland? Because the more decades this goes by, the less farmland there is, and it's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. So, what's the plan of action? This document was last updated 2012, so it's been 14 years. How much of this will be fragmented again in 14 years? I'm trying to make action today. I'm trying for something to happen today, because it's not going to happen anytime soon to provide adequate protections, and I don't think this needs to go back to advisory, because like I say, we had the public consultation. It says farmland. It doesn't say it might say agricultural zone, but it was meant to be farmland. And if it's not council's wishes to protect said, then I guess, like I say, I was fine with this document, and I will pass it as it is today, but I just wanted to see actual protection for farmers.
Thank you very much. And anybody else? Everywhere?
I'd like to see if I could wrap it up, if possible. So, I do hear what is being said, 100%. And I don't want to make it look like, for the public watching or sitting or whatever, that we're not doing anything to protect farming, because that is not true. All you have to do is clearly look at the map and look at our county-wide map. Look at the Bridgetown Planning Draft one when that time comes up. Habitation. You know, Cornwallis Park, a little bit different. But we are protecting farmland. And I just want to leave it at that.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So we have the motion, and could you please reread the motion, and then I'll go from there.
Motion to add section 5.4.4.9 with the title Property Subdivisions in Rural Zones to read, in the rural zone, lots over 15 acres shall not be subdivided more than once every 3 years into more than 2 lots.
That is the motion. And we've heard the arguments and the comments from both sides. All in favor signify by saying yes. Thank you. No? Signify. Thank you. Motion defeated. Okay. Okay, anything else before I put my 5 cents in? Oh, yeah.
Do we need to make that change in the R2 zone? Do we need to amend that little corner piece?
Yes, good. Yeah, do you want to do that?
So I make a motion. I don't know what the PID or anything is on that.
Oh, it's right there.
You got it?
Linda's got it.
Linda's got it? So I'd like to make a motion that Linda's gonna read.
She's gonna provide us our PID.
She's gonna provide particulars. Okay.
So you wish to place the entire property on PID 05025-234 wholly in the R2 zone on the land use bylaw zoning map.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Councillor Carson?
Thank you, Ms. Mack.
Thank you. Now we need a seconder to that motion. Councillor Agarbar, because I stand first. And I'm sure you'll get the full motion from, yes. Okay, any comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passed. Okay, I would like to have us look at one thing. If you were looking on your map, and you're looking at the end of the county, if you put it up there, oh, it's right there, isn't it? Yes. Do you see that where we moved the yellow section into the R2, the orange? That is the Jefferson subdivision. And in the back of the Jefferson subdivision, could you go down Main Street? Over. Over. In the orange. In the orange,
East to
right there,
west there.
yes. That has been recommended that the back end of an R1 subdivision become an R2. That is the orange section. I believe that we have enough R2 sections, and we've looked at it, and I've had some consultations, that we do not need to move or have an R2 section in the back, because in our planning, we have added different types of housing to the R1. It's not just residential one unit. We've added double dwellings. We've added duplex or semi-detached. We have the ability of accessible buildings in the back, or like granny suites and so on. So if we add an R2 to the back, it changes the whole aspect of an R1, but we have a lot of changes to the R1 that has been added. So my motion is to remove the remove the R2 in the back of, I don't know what those PID numbers are either. Ms. Bent has the PID numbers, and change it into R1. Leave it into or put it into an R1. So to remove the R2 from behind R1, the whole orange section there is R2.
All of it, or just
Down behind,
the extension of?
that square,
Yeah.
and down behind lower, because it's all owned by an owner, and the owner has never asked for any changes or asked for doing anything to it. So we do have some changes to the descriptions of dwellings in R1, so we could, that one and the next one.
Just these two?
Yes.
Not all of this?
No.
Just these two? Okay.
Also, well, I would thought that would have been a second motion to do the other one. Because the other one would be down Bell Drive. And there's a section there. And right now, that is an R2 that's connected to the R1. But look at all the other orange sections, which are R2 already. So I believe we should keep the R1 as a whole, with all the added housing changes. And if there's anything that needs to be changed, or the developers want to do anything, they can come back to us and look at that. Because it was an R1 to begin with. Could you read my motion again? I discussed motion to remove the
You said a motion to remove the R2 from behind
Jefferson subdivision.
Gypsum?
But she has Jefferson, but she has a PID number,
Jefferson?
maybe, subdivision.
Subdivision, to change it to R1.
Yes.
I
But
have
she
in the
has a-
back of PID number, changed it.
So that there's clarity, if I may.
So that's more clarity, because I don't have PID numbers now.
This property,
And the other,
this one,
both.
that's it?
And the one behind Bell Drive.
and this one.
So why don't we just say to change PID number,
So is there 3?
yeah, 3 sections.
This PID is 05-180-682. The next one is 05-180-674. And the one that, next to Bell Drive, or at the end of Bell Drive, I should say, is 05-026-869.
So they're owned by 2 different developers. May I ask a question? Should I have 2 different motions?
Be a good idea, I think.
Okay, so we'll start with the first 2 PIN numbers.
Okay. So a motion to remove the R2 from PID number 05180682 and 05180674 and change it to R1.
Yes, please. Okay,
Okay, so you made that.
so can I make, I need somebody else to make that motion.
I mean, you can technically step away from the chair.
That's what I'd like to do, so you better move. All right.
Do I have to note that you're doing that?
Yes, Deputy Warden, you're up. Thank you. Okay.
So we have a motion on the floor that's quite wordy.
Want me to read it again?
If you don't mind.
Okay, motion to remove the R2 from PID number 05180682 and 05180674 and change to R1.
Okay, so we have it on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Councilor Patterson Sullivan. All right, any questions or comments? So Councilor Hare, Oxner, and Agamber.
I always heard lots of rumors that there was a developer, but I mean, like I said, that I didn't hear them coming forward, so I'll acknowledge that. I guess my opinions on it is, ideally, I would like to see it left R2 because of the comments that was around density, targeted growth, being able to supply services. We have a potential influx from Greenwood, and that's about as close to Greenwood as we're gonna get. So a lot of what we're trying to do, I believe, is try to increase density. So ideally, I would like to see it be left R2, but I also know the councillor of the area hears from the constituents of that area, and as a democracy, if the constituents say one thing, well, I would tend to believe them, so.
Thank you, Councilor Hare. Councilor Oxner.
I have a question. Before we made the change to R2, were those PIDs originally R1?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
That was my question. Thank
Oh,
you.
there you go.
No more question? Perfect. Does anyone else have any questions or comments, or Councilor Agamber?
Well, I just want to go back to the same premise that we spoke to earlier in respect to the number of changes and amendments. Is this, I guess the question is
CAO?
towards the CAO. I'm not disagreeing with the motion, I'm just, it's about the timing.
So, Director Bent and I had a bit of a discussion. The tricky thing is that there's no measurement. There's no way to say, this should kick it back, this shouldn't kick it back. It's about the intent. So, you know, that gets very gray. The issue being is that as we, go through our process, we are telling the public at a certain point that this is what we will be bringing forward, which is what we advertise when we ask people to show up and provide their input. So when we make, a property or two, sure, probably not a big thing. If you're making sweeping changes, then absolutely you're
Right.
good. So I don't think a property or two would be damaging, but that's kind of unfortunately, it's a gray area.
Does, when we send it off to, of course, they would know, they would only see what we're gonna send in terms of the province.
Right, I mean, the province will look at it as, I mean, they're, as are represented, they'll look at the statements of provincial interest and make sure that, you know, we're not violating any of their plans, that type of thing, so no, they don't necessarily know where it was once come.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Harris?
Just a follow-up questions. I just want absolute, maybe I can't, just to planning staff, there was no inquiry from those property owners that we know of to date?
So I can speak to that.
Ms. Ben?
So I haven't had a conversation with the owner of these two parcels probably since COVID, maybe 21. I have been in conversation with somebody acting on this property owner's behalf in regards to potentially extending Bell Drive and creating lots there as well.
So I'll leave my questions about Bell Drive then later, because currently we're just on the 2 lots, not on Bell Drive then. Yes, okay. What's my second verse? If they had asked. Well, that's getting my mind, could have been too
Okay.
important.
Anyone else? No one else? Perfect. All right, so time for the vote. Does anyone need the motion read again? I don't think so. No, we're good. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no.